I want SBR Sports Pick. This is the Odds Couple Sports Betting Show. I'm Peter Loshak. His name is Mike Brenner. Today is, what is it? It's Monday the 22nd.
Flying by.
Yep, and the first segment of our show today, we took a look at the most profitable teams in college football with Brandon Shively a while ago, a few days ago. Now we're going to do the same thing for NFL. Mike Brenner, every year there's a few teams in the NFL where, your money, if you bet on them week in and week out, the key is to get on the train beforehand.
Exactly.
Right? And it's also tempting, I don't know about for you, but when you have a team that was like for 1 year cashing week in and week out, it's tempting to think they're going to be the same type of team the next year, right?
It's absolutely. You get like the Patriots or a team like that
right.
that's just so consistent like
now,
this.
In some cases with the Patriots, it does actually happen that it goes year to year. Some cases it's not. We will hear Brandon Shively's opinion on it. Let's get started. 3 top teams from last year, we remember, right? The Vikings, money, week in and week out.
Big time.
Bengals, week in and week
time.
out. And then, of course, the Carolina Panthers. There were some doubters for them, but, over the whole year, they definitely produced. Brandon Shively, those are the top 3 teams from last year. What's your take on any or all of those 3?
Yeah, I mean, this year, Peter, the odds makers are going to adjust. You mentioned the Vikings. They're not going to cover as much this year, I don't think. They were 6-0 against the spread as a road dog last year. I see them being a road favorite more this year, and that's not a role they're comfortable in. They're 2-8 straight up their last 10 games as a road favorite, dating back to 2009. So, like you said, odds makers adjust. They're not going to keep giving out free money like that. I see the Vikings not covering as much this year. And quick on Carolina, Super Bowl loser. That's usually a losing proposition in the blind the following year. They're going to have a target on their back, big public play this year, inflated lines. Another team I'll be looking to fade.
All right. Well, you always say why the odds makers will adjust. Well, why didn't they adjust last year? Why wait till this year to start adjusting?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. That's true. But I also think that a football team is usually not as good or bad the next season as well. You're right. You're right.
You know what I'm saying? If I was an odds maker, I'd be like, let's adjust now, guys.
Absolutely.
Let's not wait till next year. Mike Brenner, out of these 3 teams, Minnesota, Cincinnati, and Carolina, if you had to pick one that you think will be the most likely to be profitable and the one least likely to be profitable, what would it be?
Absolutely. Cincinnati first and Vikings will definitely be the last. I couldn't agree more with what Brandon said. I think the Vikings are going to be a little bit overvalued this year because I don't think Bridgewater's capable whatsoever of carrying that team. And look for Adrian Peterson to take a tremendous step backwards.
Brandon Shively, out of those 3 teams, if you had to pick one that's most likely to continue to be profitable this year and one that's least likely, which would it be?
Least likely, I'm going to say Carolina, Peter. Most profitable, I'm going to say the Bengals. I think the Bengals still roll a little bit. Offense might be a little rusty with the new offensive coordinator. I still think they cover some spreads this season.
All right, and now we got the 3 bottom teams, right? Now, remember last year, one of them was Dallas.
Yes.
That was because of injuries, right?
Of course.
Then we had Tennessee and Miami. All 3 of those teams were about 5-11 or 4-11-1 ATS. We saw it in the preseason. Miami's defense, some bad signs. They were getting torched. I don't know. Brandon Shively, what do you have to say about any of those 3 teams?
Yeah, Peter, I mean, Baltimore last season, they were killed by injuries, it couldn't have went any worse for them. They did in the season. They outgained 6 of their last opponents, which I think brings momentum into this season. They all their home games this year are winnable. So I think the Ravens are on a mission. They have a good tradition for winning games. I think Harbaugh gets them back in check this season. You mentioned the Cowboys too, decimated by injuries. Romo, Dez Bryant. Thing about Dallas, they are 5-17 against the spread as a home favorite the last 4 years. Terrible home covering team. Odds maker usually shades the line a little bit, knowing Cowboys are such a big public bet. So, I think Baltimore bounces back this year possibly.
Okay, yeah, Baltimore was not in the bottom 3, but they were a bad bet last year. I believe they were 5-9, something like that. ATS. All right, Mike Brenner, Miami, Tennessee, Dallas. You have anything to say about any of those teams?
Well, I think Miami is a work in progress, obviously, with Adam Gass. But like you said, their defense has been getting torched already in preseason, and that's probably been one of their biggest, defects is their defense. So I think Miami's probably going to be another bad against the spread team. I want to say that I think Tennessee's going to bounce from that spot from the bottom 3, and I think you're going to catch them up in the top 5 or 10 this year because I really think they're going to play better than expected. I think Mariota's really going to have a great year. And Dallas, I look for them to not do a whole lot this year, and I look for them to not, I think they're going to be overvalued, and I think they're going to end up in the bottom 5 tier, Pistol Pete.
All right, Brandon Shively, out of those 3 teams, Miami, Tennessee, and Dallas, which do you think is the most likely to be profitable this year, and which is the most likely to be unprofitable again?
Yeah, I think Tennessee is going to cover some spreads. I think they're going to be a valued underdog. Like Brenner mentioned, I like what they're doing. The new coach, offensive line, power running game. I think they cover some spreads as a good road dog now. Least profitable, I'm going to say Dallas as well. Just the road record. The record at home has been terrible over the years. I don't see them being profitable this year.
All right, I don't know. Dak Prescott looks pretty good. Even if Romo does go down, maybe things won't be that bad for Dallas. But interesting to speculate on, and of course, interesting to review the previous season as we head into the next one. Thanks so much, Brandon Shively.
So we're giving you picks every day, and you're probably making your own as well. Be sure to participate in SBR's weekly Twitter Bankroll Challenge. Just post your picks on Twitter with @SBRSportsPicks and the hashtag BetSBR before 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day, Monday through Friday. We'll be betting your picks, and if the bankroll is positive at the end of the week, you could win the profits. Picks must be of events taking place that day and available in at least one of the major sportsbooks shown in our Best Sportsbooks page.